Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
All right, back with you live. Sam Bushman, James Edwards. This is the broadcast for November 5th. An absolute strange day, election-wise, yesterday. The Democrats want you to believe it's a landslide, a mandate. I don't think so. I think a bunch of liberal areas where we didn't really run serious people created a bunch of failures for the Republicans. Shame on them. They should have come out with some strong, deliberate, well-funded candidates, and they actually could have won, believe it or not. I'm just telling you right now. You've got these extreme, crazy communists and liberals, and, that's my opinion to which I'm entitled. But Joshua Phillips says, hey, socialism could become key political issue for 2026. Amen, Josh. You're right as rain, and I hope that happens. You watch these people melt down, and you'll see what's going to happen. Now, President Trump's meeting with senators to try to, get the filibuster waived or, drop the filibuster temporarily or possibly permanently. It's a disaster. Don't do it, Donald. What you need to do is get Mike Johnson back in the seat and pass single-item bills and force up and down votes so you can absolutely show who's who. And if they vote against common sense measures that are non-political, like funding the air traffic controllers, you've got a lot of feathers in your cap over that. But right now, when Johnson sits at home, the blame is starting to shift against the Republicans. I hate to say that, but you're going to see the writing on the wall at some point. They're going to say, hey, we've had a big win, a mandate. We're being shanghaied by the Republicans. It's not true, but that's how they'll spin it. Keep an eye on that ball. Anyway, going forward, this is interesting. California, James, is melting down too. They're going to redistrict there, so you're going to see a massive. You think California's been socialist now. They're going straight into blatant communism down there, in my humble opinion. But California is going to be expected to spend 28 times more on health care benefits for illegal aliens than on the state police for the 25-26 budget. Democratic California Governor Gavin Newsom, I guess he's putting $348 million to law enforcement, while the state's own budget experts are saying, hey, they estimate the tab for illegal alien health care amounts to $10 billion. This is the kind of meltdown you're going to see. $10 billion. They don't have any money over there. But yet they're going to promote $10 billion on illegal aliens, and they're going to really give pittance to law enforcement. James, it's disaster. Your thoughts?
It's going to be very interesting to see. And, of course, this is, in a way, the economic disaster of so-called socialism is readily apparent in a society like this. If you had a society where everyone was a producer, it's a different conversation, okay? It's going to have a different outcome. That's not to say that we might want a socialistic society, but if you have a nation of one people and they're all working and they're all providing, that's a different story. What we have here, of course, is a nation that the undertow, the non-producers outweigh the producers. So how in the world is that supposed to make economic sense?
They've figured out how to vote largesse from the Treasury is what's happened, right?
Right. Yeah, they're just all of these different competing groups are just that's what America's come down to. Take however much you can get and don't worry about anything else. And you have a group, the working class of America is dwindling, and it cannot keep up with the people on the welfare rolls and getting all these subsidies.
The biggest reason? Because the welfare rolls are all these illegals and the welfare rolls are all these socialists, but the conservatives aren't having any babies, and so we got a massive deficit on that side of the discussion as well.
There you go. That's a big part of it, Sam. You're spot on.
Can't blame it on me, in a place like, telling you right now.
No, you cannot. In a place like California, though, where they're going hog wild and pig crazy on, just giving away the money to all of the aggrieved people groups and all the people, the illegals especially, which is a big part of this shutdown. It's going to be amazing to see what happens to California. And as we said in the first hour, I mean, maybe California and New York City will be an example that the GOP can use to say, if you want the whole country like this, vote for them in the midterms. We'll see. But going back to this lockdown or the shutdown, now this is very interesting. You know, we talked to Steve Stockman the first couple of days of this thing here on Liberty Roundtable, former congressman. Now, he would be a great one to get back in there, I can tell you that, if we should ever be so lucky, because Texas has redrawn
Pray
some
hard,
lines
work
as
hard,
well.
ladies and gentlemen. Maybe we just might catch lightning in a bottle and it'll happen, huh?
Maybe something, because I'm telling you, it's interesting that, well, first of all, he said even during the first couple of days of this thing, every time I've talked to him about something big picture like this, he's so prescient. He said, this thing's going to last at least a month. And I was thinking maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. He said at least a month. Now we're 36 days in. He was right again. And a big hang-up, they say, is over the fact of illegal aliens receiving these subsidies and voting. And now we're at day 36. And
yeah, so I got a question. If you were to take the illegal voting out of New York and ran a real candidate, would we have won?
Now that's a whole other ballgame there. Yes, but that's a different thing. Because then you're conflating reality with what we could do in a hypothetical New York City. I mean, if New York City,
well, you're talking about what could be reality if we were to get serious.
Okay, well, there's that. So, but this thing with redistricting, though, is so Texas, at the behest of the White House, redrew the lines and are going to deliver 5 more GOP seats in the midterms. Well, now all of the blue states are getting on board. California voted it in last night or on Tuesday. But, the thing about California and these other states, especially in New England, is they've already gerrymandered all of the Republicans out. Listen to this statistic, Sam. This is incredible.
Isn't that awesome? They just literally gerrymander out and then claim there's no election fraud.
Well, just listen to this. So everybody's, all the left is going nuts.
And all the
over
Republicans
the fact
have to say for themselves is, please gerrymander my way. That's all they have to say about it.
Well, if I don't mind that, Sam. I mean, what's the alternative? You're just going to get run through? I mean, I'd rather listen. If you could gerrymander,
the alternative to that is hold on. The alternative to that is to listen to the candid, honest, prophetic with a small p discussions of the founders. Partisan politics, backing parties, will be the country's ruin. And the only way to solve it is to jettison partisan politics and move back to principle-based candidates. That's the only way. And I know we're far down the road and everything, but I'm just telling you, the founders warned about that, and they're spot on.
Well, I don't disagree with you on that, but the fact of the matter is this isn't the country that the founding fathers had in mind. All right, they never would have imagined America would become what it is.
They would. They said if you had parties, this is what would happen, and now we see it. So they pretty much prophesied and predicted all this, right?
Well, with the party thing, yes, but I mean, they never expected America to have all of these other people as citizens. I mean, America was an extension of Europe. The founding.
That's right. Sure.
The only people given the franchise to vote back then were white male property owners. I mean, no, so they couldn't have foreseen where we're at. But nevertheless, with redistricting, so in New England, get this, the 6 upper New England states. Okay, so Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, those states up in that area. The 6 most northeastern New England states. Those 6 states deliver over 40% of their vote to the Republican candidate for president. Okay, get this. 40% of the vote of those 6 New England states goes to the GOP. Out of those 6 states, the GOP has 0, not 1 member of the House, and certainly not a senator either. So not one member of Congress out of 6 states that goes 40% Republican. Now, how in the hell did that happen?
Well, because it's a selection, not an election. That's how.
Well, but the left is going nuts about Texas drawing 5 more Republican-leaning districts when they've already gerrymandered the Republican Party completely out of existence.
But if we're going to agree that we're just going to gerrymander and you want the Republican gerrymander or the Democratic gerrymander, then it's hard to say when you commit election fraud who's the bigger fraud committer.
Well, I get that, Sam, but I mean the thing is, I mean what you're advocating for is the way we would like things to be.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
some would say it's
Pollyanna,
some would say it's not the real, it's it's the ideal, and that's all true. But ladies and gentlemen, if we don't start to pick principled candidates If we continue to back the good old boy network, even Republican style, you're promoting a failed agenda, an agenda that will not long-term work. The founders told you that, and you're seeing the repercussions of what they predicted right now. All right,
Well,
so
now,
California is going to
this,
spend 28 times the money on illegals than they will on their law enforcement. They literally had riots so much in California to where Donald Trump had to send troops to stop it. And now they're going to basically defund law enforcement and fund illegal alien health care. That's what they're doing. So you're going to see
America
a greater disparity
2025.
between the states, the conservatives and the communists is what you're going to see. I'm Sam Bushman, James Edwards with me. You're watching Liberty Roundtable Live.